Testing 1, 2, test.
Testing 1, 2, test.
All right. Here we go. How you doing, folks? Ron Raymond here from the Raymond Report with another edition of Finding Winners for Monday, April 26th. Hope you're having yourself a good start to your day. As always, don't forget, subscribe to our channel by tapping that notification bell in the top right-hand corner, or hit the subscribe button below this video if you are on a mobile device. And if you are new to the Raymond Report, my name is Ron Raymond. I'm a four-time sports handicapping champion and the founder of ATSStats.com and the World Series of Handicapping. In fact, pro football contest, we're going into our 10th season. Looking forward to that. And what we do here each and every day in this segment, and we look for winners, right? Finding winners. That's the title of today's show. And what we want to do is we want to look for winners, find winners, and hopefully we can bring you winners here on the Raymond Report. And I'm going to go through Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL, and I'm going to look for winners. And I'm going to share with you how, basically how I handicap, what the tools I use here at ATS Stats. And so that's what we're going to do. And we're going to find winners. And anytime you watch the show and you got a question, just put it in the chat box, which I call the bullpen. And that's where all the ramblers and gamblers are hanging out. And they'll be showing up sporadically as the notifications go out. And again, no set time when I do the Finding Winners edition because days are really busy and I don't like schedules, right? Hey, in 2021, I think that, you look at the trends that everybody, the behavior, not trends, but mostly the behaviors, everybody we're busy and nobody likes a schedule, or no one tends to keep to a schedule because everybody's busy, right? So same situation. And a little later today, normally I like to go, in the morning between 10 and 11, but we're running a little bit late here today. I did a video. The reason why I'm late is I'm going to be doing series of videos on sports handicapping tips. And, I call them Ron's rants when I do these videos. And if you go to our YouTube channel, I loaded up our first video, and it's called Bettor's Daily Checklist Before Making Bets. And basically, it's video number 1 of a long task of series that I'm going to do of videos, and I'm going to be posting them on our YouTube channel, and anybody could join and see those videos. And so they're going to be trying to keep them under 30 minutes. I thought I would be able to cram in everything I wanted in one video, but when you got the gift of gab and you just go at it, you just don't know when it's going to stop. So I'm going to try to limit them to 30 minutes. And hopefully they will be instructional, and hopefully the novice bettor will benefit, and maybe the veteran handicapper. The thing with the old dogs and trying to teach old dogs new tricks. Sometimes old dogs don't want to learn new things, right? And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I always say it's always good to have an open mind about anything, and just see. If things are working for you, then exactly, don't fix it. But if you're always open to suggestions, or think, like my good friend Ross Benjamin says, think like a bookmaker, then check out these videos, and maybe I always say, as a handicapper, it's like building your perfect robot, and if you can grab pieces of information or tips from other handicappers or even bettors. I've learned a lot from bettors, just their behavior. Like, a lot of bettors could be handicappers, to be honest. I've met a lot of great sports bettors who just want to keep a low profile, and we share information, and it's one of the beautiful things about sports betting. So, all right, I'm going to get right into the day of action here. And as I said in my video, and I do this every day, so I'm on this Google ads, and always these ads are popping everywhere. All right, the Google AdSense. All right, let's go to the SBI, which I do each and every day when I handicap the morning of the sports. And what you want to do in the SBI is you want to see what's coming in the market, right? You don't want to be betting favorites when it's all underdogs coming in, but it might be a good time because, just like the stock market, you want to buy low and sell high. And that's exactly what I do in this segment, is that when I look at the SBI, I'm trying to find the perfect, day to either, bet favorites or underdogs, or overs or unders, to see what has come in the last couple of days. So when I'm looking at the NBA right now, let's take a look at the NBA yesterday. 4-3 for the favorites, but 2-5 against the point spread, right? Now, there's the thing when you're betting point spread, there's many ways of wagering, But the thing you want to look at is you look at the straight up, and you want to see if they've covered the spread. And if you look at yesterday, 4-3 for the favorites, but they only covered 2-5. Very rare do you see that. Because if you go back in the prior days, let me see last week here. There was a couple of times, like down here, look at this. 4-3, then 6-1 for the underdogs, right? So that wasn't a good day for favorites. But look at this. 6-2, 6-2, 6-3, 5-4, 6-1, 5-2, 6-3, 5-4 for the underdogs. But then right again, 5-2, and then 5-2 straight up. So normally what I like to look at is if a favorite is won straight up, I want to see if they've covered the spread at the same time. And you keep track of that. Now, I'm looking at a bit of a reversal in the NBA. If you look up here, now on April 19th, favorites in the NBA, 5-4 on the April 19th, but only 3-5 against the point spread. So you see how the bookmakers have adjusted nicely here with their line. And this is where you got to say, okay, the favorites are winning 5-4, 56%, but they're only covering 38%. Why is that? Is it because the lines are tight? Is it because, close games? And this is why it's important to always keep track. I always say, put your toe in the water, right? Have a feel for the temperature of what's going on. And look at this, April 20th, 3-2, and then 2-3, 8-4, 3-6. So you can see right here, the favorites, they're winning, but they're not covering. Where you look down here, the favorites were winning and covering. So you see how I mean by looking at the markets. So this way, you'll have to adjust your it plays on your mindset now, because you're thinking, okay, if I like the favorite, do I also like it to cover the spread? And you hear it all the time. You hear people say, if you bet the favorites, or when you're making your selections, if you like a team, do you like them to win and you like them to cover? Do you believe that team can win and cover, or do you believe that underdog can win and cover at the same time, right? So spread sports are a bit different than money line sports like baseball and hockey. So a different mindset. Now, when I look at the 7-day average for NBA, 63.3% of the favorites have won the last 7 days, 64.8% on the season. So when I use the 7-day average, and I'm seeing here that they're covering at 64.8 and 63, so that tells me, we're pretty much in a bull market for straight up favorites, but that's expected in a money line sport. But then you want to go against the point spread, and you look at the 7-day average. 45.1% of the favorites have covered, compared to 51.4% on the season. So that tells me we're in a bear market for favorites. So look at here, that's where the underdogs are really barking right now, right? So when you're looking at sports betting, and if you're figuring, okay, and this is a good money management tip, if you are going to bet today, just know that the last week that underdogs have won, and we're on a really good pace here on the underdogs. In fact, the last 7 days, 55% of the underdogs I've covered. My range before we start getting bullish is 57.2. So, in the last 3 days, 59.3, 71% yesterday. So you can see that the underdogs are really having a good day. So that tells me maybe I wait another day until I get on the 7-day average before I start playing 5-unit plays. Like, because we're in a neutral market and you see the bear, I call this like a bear trap. You see that we're getting bearish on favorites in the last 3 days. Well, let's wait a couple of days, and that tells me that instead of betting 5 units, I'm only going to bet 1 unit, because I think a reversal might be coming any day soon. So that's how I use the analogy of sports betting with the stock market, and when to bet 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units. And because we're in a bear market for favorites, if you do like underdogs, you just got to be careful, because I think it's high risk, because the underdogs are winning at a high clip, but they're not winning straight up. So anyways, that's one of the tips that I want to give you guys today that I use, and I use it towards my money management. So this way, you hear it all the time. People say, well, how much do you bet on a game? Well, it depends on the day. You know what I mean? It depends what kind of market we're betting into. I'm not going to start buying Tesla when it's at $800 and it's been going up for the past week, when 3 weeks ago I could got it for 500 or 450. Timing is everything in the markets, right? And the same thing in sports betting. It's all about timing. Now let's take a look at the Major League Baseball, and hopefully you guys are having yourself a good day. And looking at baseball now baseball, we're still, This is interesting. Now, we talked about all the underdogs of won, and I'm going to do a comparison here. I'm going to bring up another chart, and I'm going to go to the SBI, and I'm going to bring up another money line sport in hockey and compare it with baseball. Now, hockey is the same thing as baseball, right? The type of betting mindset and the way you wager, right? It's all about money line. Not too many people play the puck line in hockey. That's the spread version of basketball, right? But when you think of and the same thing in baseball, I don't hear a lot of people say they bet the run line or anything like that. It's just you're getting a good, like, say, plus 1.5 or minus 1.5, but you're also paying a pretty price. But let's take a look at this. So let's take a look at Major League Baseball on the year. 51.6% of the favorites so far in baseball have won. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy that the favorites in baseball are winning at a high pace. Now, keeping that mindset of money line, straight money line sports like baseball and hockey, that's what I call the apple sports, right? When you compare apples and oranges, the oranges are the point spread sports. So when you compare Major League Baseball and the NHL, check this out. 64.8% of the favorites in hockey are winning. That is absolutely crazy. 13% difference in Major League Baseball and hockey. So that tells me, look on the 7-day average in hockey, 71.6%, and it's really above whatever you're smoking. I need it, Sweet Peaches. All right, Sweet Peaches, thanks for showing up. 71.6%, and then 64.8% in baseball. That's that tells me we're very hot right here in the markets for favorites betting hockey. But as I said the last couple weeks when the trade deadline was happening, I said, guys, keep an eye out on the favorites. It happens every year. Every time we have a trade deadline, the favorites just go on an absolute run. That's because teams that are trying to get the top spot are trying to they're shoring up their team with player acquisition, and they're trying to win their division, right? So that's why you see a lot of favorites beating the beatables. So that's one thing I really notice here in baseball. Baseball right now, 49.1% of the favorites and 51 in the last 7 days. So you're starting to see a bit of a reversal. You see that the underdogs starting on April 13th really had a good run right here, but this can't continue forever. In the last 2 days, 3 days, 13-2. Here's the reversal right here. So if you're following baseball and you see this right here, that would be a good day. Anytime you get right around here, 8, 9, then you start lifting up your units on if you like the favorites. Like if you're wondering, okay, when do I start betting 5 units if I get to like the 3 days of underdogs coming? Well, on this day I probably would have bet 2 units. On this day, probably 3 units. It would have continued, then I'd progress to like 4 or 5 units, right? And that would have been a great day betting 5 unit on favorites, just knowing that the reversal was topping right here. All right, so that's where I think the markets are. And now, because the last couple of days the favorites are starting to come in, now I'm gonna lower down my risk, right? This was a 5 unit day, probably a 4. Now I'm probably betting 2 units in baseball. So that's money management tip 101 right there for me. That's how I do it. And like I say, I cash out more than I cash in, and it works for me. All right, let's look at NBA. We're going to look at some NBA. And what I do is I go look for trends, right? League system trends or percentage play. And if you go look at, I'm going to do a video later on this afternoon on value, percentage play, and performance cycles. And when I look for these percentage plays, when I handicap the games, when I look at the board, first thing I do is I know that I'm only going to bet on teams that have a winning record, 50% or higher in the standings. So I label those B and A type teams, and right away I'll go to the A and B type teams, and I'll look for the situations, and then knowing that I'm gathering data on them, I'm going to take a look at their coming off situation. Coming off 3 wins, coming off 3 ATS wins, coming off 3 unders, and then I'm going to go in the system to see if there's any past occurrences of teams in that exact situation that the percentage play does favor us here today. Now, because I'm doing that, doesn't mean that to me that's the it's the golden egg. That's the play you got to do. It's going to win 100%. No, it just means that from prior situation, the percentage play does favor us today for a team in that spot. Like I used it last night in the NBA. I think it was the Indiana-Orlando game, and I'll show you what I did. If you look at my picks yesterday, I went 1-2 yesterday. I got snake bitten by 2 games. Indiana over 223. That was a nice 5-unit play. Baltimore, this was 3-1 going into the 8th inning, and then they scored like 6 runs, and we lost 7-1 or 8-1. And then the Dodgers. We all saw what happened last night. I had the Dodgers, and the Padres scored 6 runs in the last 3 innings, and then they won in the extra innings, right? So bad beats, but that happens in sports betting, right? But I still feel I was on the right side of all these plays. But this play right here, I'm going to show you what I did in my database and why I took the over last night. Now I'm going to go back to database. I'm going to go to super database. And let's take a look at NBA. And I did it was underdogs. I think it was home underdogs. And they were on a 4-game losing streak. So underdogs that were on a 4-game losing streak. Where is it here? 4-game losing streak this season. Pretty sure this was it. 15-3. That's unbelievable. And that's why I took the over last night, and I did some more handicapping. And that's why when I say, shop for value, play the percentages, whenever you find a league system trend like that, now, obviously that's a great trend, and I didn't solely base my decision based on this one league system trend. But when I say play the percentages, and if, and history is our best teacher, and if home underdogs this season in the current season and macro environment of all the teams involved in the NBA with the core players staying intact, and in any NBA home underdog this year that's coming off a 4-game losing streak, and the over is what did I say, 15-3? That is super solid. And if I go just underdogs on a 4-game losing streak, 25-8. So that was a solid play. Well, and one reason why I took that play last night. Now, is there any teams on a 4-game losing streak right now? Because that would be actually Philadelphia, but they're a favorite. It's too bad. The Sixers. Let me see when I do favorites on favorites in the NBA on a 4-game losing streak. Not a good time to go on a losing streak if you're the Sixers, right? So see, not as good as an underdog. So that doesn't help us here. All right, let's take a look at some of these games. Miami. I'm going to bring up on this screen here my coming off situations. And Miami. So the Heat. So when I look at the Heat here tonight, Miami Heat, where are you? All right, so they're coming off a back-to-back game situation with the Chicago Bulls, and coming off 2 overs, and they're coming off a 5-point win. So let me check this out here. So let me do home favorites. All right, home favorites, and I'm going to take a look. Coming off a 5-point win. Let me see let's do 4 to 7-point win. Where is that 4 to 7? Here it is. So home favorites coming off a 4 to 7-point win. What's the record? 50-24 straight up, but only 34, 38-2, and 44-30 against to the over. So that's not bad. That's not bad at all. How about road underdogs? Road underdogs coming off a 4 to 7-point loss. 35-30. No, nothing really to write home about there, right? Okay, what else do we got here to work with? Playing on 1 day's rest, home favorites, 2 overs. And the thing is, I'm looking for more higher streak occurrences, right? Like the higher the streak occurrences, like 4 overs, 5 overs, 6 overs, the percentage play of the under coming in is at a higher rate, but you got to go find that situation. All right, let me see here. Let's do this. I'm just going to grab another window here and grab the game between Chicago. And the thing, I don't want to spend too much time on one game because we got a lot of games to handicap. So I'm just going to go through basically, I'm going to be looking for higher occurrences coming off situations. So there's really not a lot for Miami, Chicago. But Chicago's got a good road record, ATS 19-11. And they're 7-3 against the point spread in Miami. All right, let's take a look at another game. Clippers. Now, the Clippers are on a 4-game win streak, so let's check this out. 4-game win streak, and they're a road favorite. So, road favorite, and they're on a 4-game win streak. So, away favorites this year on a 4-game win streak, 10-5 to the over. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. All right, let's go see if we can find other occurrences to complement it. So, let me see here. Away favorites, and what's the situation for the Clippers? Coming off a 3-point win. So let's 1 to 3-point win. Probably won't get many occurrences. Yeah, less than 10, 3 and 2. Let me do favorites. Six and 3. Not bad. Just doesn't have the 10 occurrences, right? New Orleans coming off an ATS loss. So New Orleans, let me check out their situation leading into tonight's game. New Orleans, 1 under, coming off a 2-point loss to San Antonio. That was all right. So let me check this out. So 2-point loss. So let's do Underdogs, coming off a 1 to 3-point loss. And what's the total in this game tonight? 228. Oh, so let's do 220 or more. Or we can range it out here. 225 to 230. 29-41, 39-32, 26 and 44. So not a good so here's one thing. Because the line on this game here is like -1.5, the money line might be worth it here on the Clippers. Because home underdogs coming off a 1 to 3-point loss, and the total's 225 to 230. They're not good against the straight up. 26 and 44 on the year. So under and play against. So Clippers could be a nice play here tonight. All right, Phoenix against New York. Let's take a look at this one. And let me check out the situation involving the Suns. Phoenix, New York. All right, now it's a 3-point, so they're a 3-point favorite now. And let me see what they're coming off 2 straight up losses. So let's do away favorites. Away favorites. And the New York Knicks. Knicks are on a good run right now. 12 ATS wins, 9 straight up wins. And they're coming off a 17-point win. So let me see this here. So let's do home underdogs. Home underdogs. Coming off a 16, 19-point win, and the total's 215. What's the total on this one? 215. Yeah, so all right, 210 to 215. Let's see that. Nothing. Okay, let's take away the total. And let's do let's see. 2 overs, coming off 2 overs. Two and 0. Let's do the last 3 years. Five and 0. Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad. Let's go 5 years. 8 and 1. Pretty good. Pretty good. So check this out. We have home underdogs coming off a 16 to 19-point win, which New York did against Toronto. Last 5 years coming off 2 overs. Pretty good. 8 and 1 straight up. 8 and 1 against the number. 6 and 3 to the over. There's Isaiah. How you doing, Isaiah? G&G. Good afternoon, Ronald. The video is extremely blurry. Best Gary. Extreme. Today's video is blurry? Is that what you're saying? Do a refresh. Refresh your screen. Yeah. Hello, cheeks. Yeah, so extremely blurry. Best Gary. Yeah, if you refresh your screen, that might help. Is this blurry for everybody? It looks fine to Bo Jackson. All right. No, yeah. So I think it's on your end there, G&G. Your 28 BPS dial-up connection must be slowing down here. All right. So So let's go back to this this play here tonight between New York and Phoenix. Phoenix coming off 2 losses now. Tough loss yesterday against the Brooklyn Nets, but no one expected KD to be in the lineup, right? There was no talk, and that surprised everybody. But New York, this is a tough one here. Let me do since '96. This is a pretty good. Let me see if it's solid here. Yeah, see, it evens out, but still good against the point spread. So look at that. Since 1996, home underdogs coming off a 16 to 19 point win, and coming off 2 overs, 17-8 against the point spread. Very, very good. So they won their last game, 120 to 103. So let me try this. Let me see. Scored 120 or more points in their last game. 20 or more points for in their last game. Since 1996, 24-20. No, not as great. But yeah, so New York showing some good numbers right here. Let's check out Phoenix right now as an away favorite. So Phoenix as an away favorite must be B. Ronald Stillbury, but I can't figure it out. All right, let me see here. Phoenix, their situation tonight. 2 straight up losses and 2 ATS and ATS losses. So 2 ATS losses and 2 straight up losses. 2 straight up losses. 2-game losing streak. And they're on what? 0 days rest. So in a back-to-back game situation. This is tough. I think Phoenix is it just me, or is the Suns playing a lot of basketball late? I think everybody is, but for some reason I just feel like Phoenix is just caught into schedule hell right now. Back-to-back games. And we'll do this season, current season. Current season. All right, what do we got here? 1 and 2, so not a lot of recurrences. Let me take one of these out. So let me take this one out. We'll just say 2 ATS losses as an away favorite. 1 and 4. Yeah, so you know what? New York Knicks, from a percentage play point of view, the Knicks might be a nice play here tonight. And they're getting +3. So, yeah. Right now, the percentage play favors a bit of the New York Knicks. All right, let's take a look at the next game here. Let me see here. Memphis and Denver. Memphis, another situation, right? Memphis has been playing a lot of top teams of late. Coming off a nice win yesterday. And let me see, Denver. So, big win yesterday for the Grizzlies. In fact, it was a 120-113. Portland now on a 4 or 5 game losing streak. Portland's not looking good right now. But every team goes through hiccups, right? So let's take a look at the situation. So Memphis coming off 2 ATS wins, and they're away underdogs. So away underdogs coming off 2 ATS wins current season. And let's say back-to-back games. Oh, boy. Yeah, Denver money line looks really good. 1 and 14 for Memphis. So any away underdogs coming off 2 ATS wins this season, and they're playing in back-to-back game situations. The home away underdogs 1 and 14. Not a good situation here for the Memphis Grizzlies. How you doing there, Sammy Plasta? Like the Canucks, not official though. Been a while. Yeah, hey, we're still hanging our hat here. All right, so those are some of the NBA games that I was looking at. Let me take a look real quickly NHL, and then I'll do a little bit of Major League Baseball. All right, so let's take a look at NHL tonight. And the thing with the NHL right now is let me see. Good to know, Ron, as I was leaning Denver. Yeah, moneyline Denver. What is it? 150, 170, 160? That's a pretty strong. And Memphis. The thing with Memphis, if you look at their games they've played in the last 5 or 6, like it's all the top teams. Like they played the Bucks, the Nuggets, Clippers, Trailblazers twice. So, and then they got Denver tonight. So there's really no breathers there for them, right? And now they're playing another game. So since April 21st, so 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th. Wow, this will be the 4th game in 5 nights. There were 6 nights. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26. Yeah, so this will be the 4th. This is like the Phoenix situation last weekend when they played Boston. Remember that Phoenix-Boston game was a Friday night? I think it was Friday or Saturday. And I said, you know what? 4 games, 6 night, spaghetti legs. I can see Memphis getting the old spaghetti legs going there tonight. Denver money line, probably a solid play. All right, let's take a look at the NHL. And I'm seeing, okay, so a lot of C-type teams here tonight. And if you follow my videos, if you're an action junkie, then, I can see why you want to bet these C-type teams. But if you're a sports investor and you're looking for the opportunity, it's going to be really tough now. And I went through this in the NHL at the beginning of the show, right? NHL favorites are hitting at a high pace. They're hitting at 7% clip from the season. If you compare from the beginning of the year, NHL favorites the last 7 days, 71.6, and since the All-Star break or the trade deadline, favorites are winning. Even though it's good if you're betting favorites, but the bookmakers are putting these ridiculous lines of 300, 500, 400. So they're discouraging you to from a fundamental point of view, it's just not good money management to be betting $200-$300 to win $100, right? Because on any given night, anything can happen. But let's take a look at the NHL. So let me see what's Edmonton, Winnipeg. So that's the game of the night, I think. Or Colorado, St. Louis is going to be a great game too. Let me take a look at the starting goalies, the probable. All right, let's go to NHL. Let's take a look at the starting goalies tonight between Edmonton, Winnipeg. I know Hellebuck didn't have the least. He got pulled in the first period. He wasn't too happy with that. But when you poop the bed, that's what happens, right? Hellebuck tonight and Mike Smith. So good goaltending duel tonight. Now let's take a look at the Edmonton situation. Let me bring up the Edmonton Oilers here on the Premium Report. Hey Ray, how you doing, Rui? Everybody's slowly making their way into the bullpen. Hey, I'm keeping you all off guard with these times, eh? Keeping you guys off balance here. All right. Edmonton against Winnipeg. So, computer likes the Edmonton Oilers here on the analytics. Edmonton 6-4 in the last 10. They lost to Montreal in the last game 4-3. And are they a favorite tonight? Good. So they are a favorite. And the Raymond Report system, right? Our favorite system. NHL favorites coming off a 1-goal loss, like 65% on the year. So Edmonton looking like a really solid play. Hellebuck has, he's a great goalie. I think he's just having a period of low confidence level right now. 21-13 on the year, 2.58 goal against, but they're using him a lot, right? And this is where you're seeing the goaltenders getting a bit of goalie fatigue. And I think, you got to play Brossoit a little bit more, right? Try to say that 10 times, Brossoit. Hey, unless you're French, you're okay. Hey, Brossoit. Look at this. Winnipeg at home against A-type teams, 0-5 on the year. I think Edmonton, guys, is a very solid player tonight. I think Edmonton is the play. And, they're coming off a 4-3 loss to Montreal. You got Mike Smith, who I find that gives them a better chance to winning between the pipes. And let's take a look at the injury report here. I always like to look at the injury report to see if, we're getting at that point of year where guys, teams are going to start load management, right? Playoffs are coming. Ehlers is now out for the Winnipeg Jets. I saw it this morning on the wire. Upper body. Don't you love those upper body? Probably got a pulled earlobe or something, right? Upper body. But yeah, I think you want to go with Edmonton here tonight, guys. I think Edmonton is a very solid play. Just a tiny wager, thanks. Best of luck with the Parlay Cheeks. Yeah, Nikolai Eller to miss the rest of the season. Exactly. And now you're starting to see these injuries because these guys are playing a lot of hockey, a lot of basketball, and they're tweaking those the common sports injury of overplaying is the growings, the hamstrings, the pulled calf muscle. And unfortunately, you're going to get a lot of, especially in basketball, players stepping on each other's feet and twisting their ankle. It's but a lot of that is fatigue. Because I always say when coaching football, a lot of injuries are because of a lot of times it's because of a couple of things. One, very poor fundamentals, athletic fundamentals, right? The number one thing you teach in sports or at any level is bend your knees. Like as soon as you start bending your knees, and then you're in an athletic position. And the other thing is conditioning. A lot of these players aren't well conditioned. And especially if you're a professional athlete, your body is your Porsche, and you got to put good stuff in your body. You got to eat right. But you know what? Today's sports athlete, his diet is, I would say 9 out of 10 athletes follow a diet, and unless you're pitching for the Minnesota Twins there. Well, what's that? There's a couple of players in baseball in Minnesota there. I saw was one good player, really good player. But Cheeks, you would know that the guy in Minnesota, pretty good player though. He looks like a ringer you bring off of a beer league. Hey, he looks like a ringer from a beer league, but he's pretty good. But yeah, so those are my takes on professional athletes and their conditioning and injuries. Right, poor conditioning, poor fundamentals in your sport. But Edmonton tonight, guys, I think is a very solid sport play here tonight. Let me take a look at another game. Edmonton, Winnipeg, Carolina, Dallas, minus 132 for Carolina. That's an interesting number. Canes are fighting for that top spot with Tampa Bay and Florida. Let me see here. Let me see Carolina. It's almost like too good to be true, right? When you see a price of 132. Let me see the line go up in that game. Carolina, Dallas. Yeah, 132. That looks like a gift. That really does. And Carolina, 15-9 on the road. Dallas, 12-14. And when you look at the Stars, it's unfortunate. Let me see here. Radulov, is he still out? Yeah, Radulov is, he's been out all year. Abdomen. Yeah, it's too bad. I love Radulov. If there's certain type of players you really want on your team, he's just a rink rat. Radulov is, it could be like a Friday night, 9 o'clock at night, and he'll be at the rink, just working on his shot. He's just a rink rat. I love Radulov. I loved him when he was in Montreal. He's a bit different, but he's a winner. The kid loves to play hockey, and I really like Radulov. Let me see here. Rupines, Pavelski, Robertson. Robertson's a nice player too. I like Robertson. Pretty good in the shootout. He's pretty good in the shootout. Faxka, Ben. Jamie Benn, he's still good. But, Carolina, let me see here. Peter Mrazek, lower body. It's too bad. Hopefully he's going to be okay. But it looks like it's going to be James Reimer. I like James Reimer. I don't love James Reimer. When he was with the Leafs, I know he struggled. Bit of a journeyman goaltender. I noticed that. G&G, you're ripping it in Major League Baseball. Yeah, you're back on my roster, G&G. I put you back on my roster. You were bringing my scout. So what's G&G's talking about here? I'm gonna give him some. I'm gonna give G&G some love here. He's pulled up his pants at bullpenpicks.com. Hey, let's go to the top scorers right here. Let's go look at G&G and give him some love here. There he is. Hey, G&G with his Winnipeg Jets logo. 616. Look at that. Hey, look at G&G, 4-1 in your 63 to 72%, 9-6, 616 as a score, and I put you back on the roster, G&G, on my following page. Hey, you got to keep my rink rat score up here at 552. Eddie. Hey, I know Eddie watches the show. Eddie, I'm just gonna tell you, I'm gonna give you a couple more days. You don't get your rink rat score up, Eddie, I'm gonna have to cut you from the Raymond team. Hey. You're close to running the fine, Ronald. Yeah, I know. Hey, I'm not. I'm 460. I'm not saying I should be on the All-Star team as well. But the thing, I've been having a pretty good run as well. It's just that the teams that I'm putting as a high score are letting me down. In fact, when I go look at my score, I went 9-6 and I went 10-5 on Saturday. So Sunday 9-6, 10-5. So 9-6, 10-5, 19-11 the last 2 days. It's So when you're using bullpenpicks.com, so the way it works, you put your confidence level, right? So this is what's killing me. My 63 to 72%. I'm observing everybody's strategy at Bullpen Picks and Hockey Picks, and I'm also going to release. I wasn't sure if I was going to do a college football one, but I'm going to do it. I'm gonna have a college football site like this, and NFL. I'm gonna release it in a couple of weeks. You're gonna love the URL of the NFL one. I'm in love with the URL. I think it's a great URL. But we're gonna have one very shortly. So back to the bullpen picks. So anytime you do your selections, I think the key, if you're not sure how strong you like your pick, or you're really on the fence, you keep it between 51 and 54%. And the picks you love, then you can go go to town on it, right? We got a bad beat last night on the Dodgers. Oh God, don't even tell me about it. That, and I had the under in Baltimore. 3-1 in the 8th inning, and then the 9th inning, and then Guerrero comes in and just poops the bed. It's just absolutely brutal. And it was 3-1. Then they scored 5 runs in the 8th, and then we lost 8-1 and lost the under. So a couple of bad beats yesterday, but hey, it is what it is. Sorry to say, but I was on the Padres last night. Hey, you know what? Good, awesome. Hey, misery loves company. That's why me and G&G are sticking together here, because we lost ours last night. But if you had the Padres, hey, and you know what? I'm happy for the Padres, because the way they got swept in San Diego, and then they go back and they won 2 or 3 LA. Now we got ourselves a Yankees-Red Sox series, right? Western version of the West Coast version of the Red Sox and Yankees. And trust me, people now will tune in to Padres and Red Sox. And the trash talking, that's part of that's what makes it all better. Like when Tatis is showing signs, and Trevor Bauer's he's wiping his nose, giving the finger. Not a lot of people picked up on that, right? He was wiping his nose and gave him the finger, and it's like whatever. But that's what makes great series, right? So I think the Padres Yankees is going to be a really fun series to watch down the stretch. But yeah, so bullpenpicks.com, G&G is doing a good job. But Eddie, come on, Eddie. We need you picking up the. I'm going to cut you from my team if you don't pick it up. I'm just teasing Eddie here. Eddie's a good dude. Eddie's killing it too, though. He showed me some of his bets. Eddie's. You want to follow Eddie? All right. Where was I here? Carolina, Dallas. Hey, look at G&G there. Threw me off with his high score there. Bullpen picks. Hey, that's okay. Carolina, back to the Canes. 3-1, 2.8. 7-3 last 10 for Dallas. Oh, let me bring this over here. I'm looking at the wrong screen here. All right, let's bring it over here. Okay, my value index on Carolina tonight is minus 178. What did I have it on Edmonton? Edmonton, my value was minus 129. Yeah, undervalued. So, yeah, Edmonton's looks like a solid play. So this is 178 compared to 173. Look at Dallas's value. Dallas has a high value index right here. DMVI stands for Daily Market Value Index. So I got a good index here on the Stars. Man, but they're 3-8 against the top teams, and 3-7 against Carolina. And we're in a favorite market, right? So Carolina, Edmonton, guys, I think tonight, finding winners today on the Raymond Report. Those are your 2 NHL plays. Let's go find some winners in Major League Baseball. And let me take a quick glance of today's games. All right, so Kansas City, Detroit's already underway. Minnesota and Cleveland, 2 C-type teams. I won't touch that. Chicago, Atlanta. Atlanta, remember I keep talking about, there comes up, now we're at the 20 game mark, right? Atlanta 9-12. Now Atlanta was one of the top teams last year in the National League. But the National League East is really tight. It was tight last year. Everybody was jockeying for positions in the National League East. And right now, Atlanta, it's just almost like fool's gold, right? The perception versus reality is that you look at Atlanta, and it's here's the one thing you say to yourself if you're a baseball bettor and you're handicapping Atlanta. You're saying, okay, there's so much talent on this roster. It's just a matter of time before they turn it around, right? They're on a 2-game losing streak right now. and they're a C-type team. And let me check out the lineup. And let me see the lineup tonight for the Atlanta Braves. And let me see here. So Ronald Acuna. Let me see here. 7 home runs. Man, Ronald Acuna. What a great name, eh? Ronald Acuna. Hey, G&G. Hey, since he likes to call me Ronald all the time. Batting .371. He's doing really good. Freddie Freeman. Let's see. Freddie, 205. That's one reason. Marcell Ozuna, 184. See, now we're starting to see, 184, and he's batting third. Travis d'Arnaud, 190. You can't have your cleanup hitter hitting 190, right? So there's your problem right now in the batting order. Third and fourth hole, batting less than 200. Ozzy Albies, 164. That's like Galvis in Baltimore. Danby Swanson, 173. Man, I thought it was pitching, but now I think it's Riley, 241. Heredia, 231. And Charlie Morton going tonight. Charlie ERA of 3.91. And you know what? Yeah, it's just a matter of time, though, right? You think when you think of the Atlanta Braves. I still like the Marlins. I still like the Marlins in that division, like the scrappy Miami Marlins. Let me take a look at the schedule, the standings in the National League East, Major League Baseball. So New York Mets, man, it's still open. Like Washington National, last place, 2 games behind. Atlanta, 2 games behind. Marlins, 2 games behind. Phillies, 1 game behind. Everybody's got a losing record in that division except for the New York Mets that are 1 game above 500. Tough division, right? When you look at the Mets, Phillies, Marlins, Braves, Nationals, from 1 to 9 hole, good lineups, really good lineups. But we're at the 20 game mark, and now I'm going to observe the next 20 games, and I'm going to look at the Marlins a lot, and probably keep my eye out on the other ones. But I think I do like the Marlins in that division right now. I do like the Marlins. All right, what do we got here? Take Memphis, says Willie McCall. Willie says, all right, here, I missed a few here. Roland, I'm winning on Kansas City, bet up 2-0. I took Kansas City in the over, says Roland G. I meant the under, he says. But why bet against Memphis if they are hot? Yeah, stock market, right? Buy low, sell high. They're at the high point right now, and they've played a lot of games. They played 4 games in 6 nights. It's a lot of basketball, and you're playing against Denver, one of the hottest teams too, right? Well, actually, Denver. Let me see. Didn't they lose 4 straight? Maybe they're not hot right now. Yeah, 4 ATS losses. 4 ATS losses. I do like Denver on the money line though. I'm on Detroit early. I just need Carlos Santana to hit and land. Yankees going over total runs, says Roland. Oakland A's, good bet today. I don't know. You know what? The Oakland A's, here's my situation with the A's, right? And one of my things in sports betting, and we talked about this a lot. Remember when Sacramento went on that 8-game win streak and then they lost 9 games? Teams that normally goes on these crazy runs have a habit of going on the opposite direction too. So it's just like Oakland. Oakland's very streaky. They started the season 0-5, then they go on this 13 run. Now, are they going to go on another 5-game losing streak? I think Oakland right now is one of those situations where you probably sit this one out, right? All right, let me take a look at some of the baseball here. All right, so I'm going to take a look at. I like Tampa Bay. I've always liked Tampa Bay. I know they're coming off a loss yesterday. They're sending Rich Hill to the mound today against Sean Manaea. Let me see. Sean Manaea, 3.04 ERA, 1.18 WHIP. How many innings is he? So Manaea has given a lot of innings. 7 innings against Minnesota. So Sean Manaea has given a lot of innings. He's a workhorse. 7 innings, 6 innings. What about Rich Hill, the old veteran? Rich Hill, 1-0, 8.82 ERA. Don't like that. Got rocked in his last outing against Kansas City. 4 hits, 4 runs, only 2 innings. So as much as I do like Tampa Bay here, and I think from a situational point of view, like percentage play, I think Tampa Bay might be a good, but Tampa Bay's starting to get injured a bit, right? The pitching, when you start seeing like Fleming come up, Putino yesterday, or the young kid rookie who came up yesterday, Like you're seeing the Tampa Bay going to the farm team, picking up a lot of young arms coming up. But the bats are still there. Diaz, I can't wait for Choi to be back. Diaz, Razorina, Brasul, Lau, Margot, Wendell, Adames, Maya, Kiermaier. So you know what? From a hitting point of view, this could be an overs game, right? This could be a game that you want to go over. But Tampa Bay 11-11 on the year, 14-8 for Oakland, and you know what? I'm not sold on Tampa Bay with Rich Hill only going 2 innings last, and you know what? He's a older guy too, right? Rich Hill, what's his 41-year-old pitcher? That has me a little bit concerned, just a bit, because he only went 2 innings last game, 4 innings the day before, and he only averages about 4 innings, 3.2 to 4 innings. So I don't think I'm going to touch that. Ray's bullpen decimated exactly. So Milwaukee, Corbin Burns going today. 170 is the price. Burns, along like with DeGrom, just been outstanding, right? 6.5 the total. See that? Total 6.5. In fact, let me take a look at favorites when the total 6.5 this year at home. I'll do home favorite or favorites on home. Doesn't matter. It's the same thing, right? Total 6.5 current season. Let's see what the trend is. Wow. There's been 12 occurrences of a line of 6, a total of 6.5, 5 and 7 to the under. Home favorites. Let me see how home favorites have done. Total 6.5, 3 and 5 though. Interesting. The Brewers won 2 after getting smoked by the Cubs in that first game. What was it, 16-4 or something like that? And then they won 2 against Chicago. Then Milwaukee at home. Let me see how they do against lefties this season. Milwaukee against southpaws. I know Tampa Bay doesn't do well against southpaws. Let me check this out here. Versus lefties this season at home or away. 5-2, 1-4-2 to the under. So yeah, you know what? The under looks pretty good here. 1-4-2 to the under. So Milwaukee. What about Miami? Miami facing righties. This season, 4-7. Oh, look at that, 1-9-1. So Miami Marlins against right-handed pitchers this year, 1-9-1 to the under. Pretty solid, pretty solid. And just like the title of this show, finding winners, right? That's what we're trying to do here. And if you are watching for the first time and you are new to the Raymond Report, my name is Ron Raymond, 24 veteran year sports handicapper, founder of the World Series of Handicapping, and author of Ron Raymond's Top 50 Sports Betting Secrets. And again, if you are interested in a free copy of my book, just send me an email at Ron, or go to the website. Just go to the website, hit the Contact Us button, and just say I'd like a copy of your book, and I will send you a free copy of my book, Ron Raymond's Top 50 Sports Betting Secrets. All right, one more game, and then we'll call it a night. Seattle-Houston. You know what? I talk about a couple teams all the time, right? Seattle, San Francisco. Who else do I talk about sometimes? Let me see. Seattle, San Francisco. Who was it? Seattle, San Francisco. St. Louis to an extent. But what I'm trying to get at here is that these are teams that people don't, they think eventually they're going to lose. And it just, all they do is keep winning. And there's a lot of value. Like when I look at San Francisco, or Seattle. Let's look at Seattle. Right off the bat, okay? If you think Seattle, how many times they've been an underdog this season, you're going to probably say out of what? Let me see how many games they played. So Seattle is 13-9. So they played 22 games. Out of 22 games, how many times do you think Seattle's been an underdog this season? I'm going to say about 12. 12 or 13. Look at that. 12-9 as an underdog out of 23 games. They've been an underdog almost every game. And all they do is win, right? All they do is they've been money, like Isaiah says, they've been money. Until they prove us wrong. And Bill Parcells says it all the time. You are what your record says you are, and if you're making money, hello, best friend. Hey, I'm gonna start buying Seattle Mariners hat here in jerseys pretty soon. All right, Ron is the Don. Right on. I love that. Hey, some solution. Seattle money as an underdog. Yeah, absolutely. So let me take a look at the situation. Well, let's take a look at the coming off. Now, obviously, they ran into a good pitcher yesterday in Rodriguez in Boston. And Boston, too. Yeah, that's the other team. The Boston Red Sox, right? Boston's been pretty solid. So let me take a look here at the situational stuff here for the Seattle Mariners. And I want to see how they've been doing. And then we'll look for a percentage play on current situations the last couple of years to see from a percentage point of view. Now, the thing when you handicap, when you give when you glance over your tip sheet, there's the eye test, right? Right away, you look at teams and your sports betting instinct will say, okay, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Now you gotta find reasons to make it look good, right? So value, percentage play. So value, there's always value on Seattle, but I didn't see a line this morning. Let me see if the line's out on that game. I didn't see, when I generated the sports this morning, I didn't see a line on this game. Is there a line yet on this game? Let me see here. If I bring up Seattle, MLB. Seattle. See, there's still, maybe, let me check with Bookmaker here. I don't know what's going on there. What's the reason why there's no line on that game yet? Anybody know? All right, let me check Seattle, Houston. And Houston had a pretty good series, right? They took 2 or 3 of the Angels. So they had a pretty good season series. So baseball, Major League Baseball, Seattle. Okay, so Seattle's at 153 underdog tonight. It's just that uncomfortable pick, right? Now, you see the line. You see Houston minus 170. And, the bookmakers are telling you, I dare you to bet Seattle at 153. I just dare you. And all the Seattle says, okay, I'll take your cake and I'll eat it too, right? And that's all Seattle's done. Seattle plus 155 until they lose, until they prove us that. And Seattle is a good hitting team. Like, you watch that team, that series against the Red Sox, and we all know Fenway's a nice hitter's park, right? Haniger, France, Seager. Seager's been having a really good year. 235, 3 home runs, 19 RBIs. Lewis hitting cleanup, only 125 though. He's hitting cleanup tonight. Let me see here. Let me check Crawford. 239, 5 RBIs. Let me see. Haniger, 5 home runs, 17 RBIs. France. Yeah, France is doing Ty France 316. Hey, tell me you had France in your fantasy draft there, or your fantasy pool this year, right? Everybody's like, who's Ty France? But Seattle's a really good team. Seattle's let me see here, what's their situation? So coming off a 2-point win, 7-4 on the road, 7-4 on the road. Let me see here, what's their coming off situation? So 5 and let's see, what was the final yesterday? 5-3. Not a lot of coming off situation. Let me take a look at the free report so I can look at their my database. So let's do any away underdog coming off a 2-run loss. All right, right here. Away underdog. Oh my God, just hit puberty right there. Do you hear that? Hey, just hit puberty. All right, away underdogs coming off a 2-run loss current season. 12-8, not bad at all, right? 12-8, then 7-10-3. So yeah, you know what? Seattle looking pretty good. Here tonight on the and Houston. Houston. Okay, let's take a look at Houston here. They're sending Jose Urquidy to the mound here tonight. What's Urquidy's 0-2, a 5.14 ERA. Justice Sheffield, how many innings has he given us? 5.2, 6 innings, 5 innings. And Urquidy in his last few outings. I'm going to take some water here. 0-2, 5.14 ERA. 5 innings. So Urquidy giving them some good innings, except for that first outing against Oakland. So both pitchers, I don't think it's going to come down to pitching. I like the starting pitchers. I think the hot bats, right? Let's take a look at obviously with that 16 runs here on Saturday, that's going to flex the average here a bit. Home favorite this year, Houston 4-6. Road underdog 6-4. Anytime you get an underdog on the road that's hitting 60%, averaging 4.9, 4.6 against, that's pretty solid, right? Pretty solid play right there. All right, folks, that's it for me today on a Manic Monday, April 26th. If you enjoy the show, appreciate if you do hit the like button. Always appreciate if you do hit the like. And again, check out the video. I just released the video on YouTube, and the video is called. Let me see here. I'm gonna. I wonder if I can bring it up here on the. I'll bring it up on this. All right. So if you go to the Raymond Report right here on the YouTube, and you just go right here, finding. No, yeah, here it is. No, that's right now. Bettor's Daily Checklist Before Making Bets, Part 1. I'm going to be releasing a series of videos, basically tutorials on my philosophy of sports betting. And this here will give you an idea of, a checklist you should make before making your bets, right? So this way, it's like, you'll see. If you watch the video, hopefully you enjoy it. I think it's pretty good. And hopefully it helps you out with your sports betting. And I'll do a bit of it. All right, folks. LOL, COVID. What's Willie McCall laughing at? LOL, he says. What are you laughing at, Willie? Hey, what's the injury list on Houston? Take Houston. They could be due, though. Boston scored first in the 4 innings, says Ricky Picks. I'm going to watch the video. Awesome. All right, guys. Have yourself a great rest of your Manic Monday. I'll be back here tomorrow. I don't know. It won't be the same bat time, same moment, but I will be back here tomorrow. And we'll be here finding winners at the Raymond Report. In the meantime, shop for value, play those percentages. We'll see you back shortly with another Raymond Report. Good luck to all the ramblers and gamblers. Let's get it tonight, says G&G.